The June-July holidays are coming to an end. The kids are getting a bit creative with clay making. One thing I love about being on a farm is the kids get to use their hands a lot. So clay making's just one of those things. Or maybe it's the fact they have a mother like me and I won't let them aimlessly watch TV for hours on end. We make a one last hurrah for our school holiday ventures. Here we are on Noosa Queen taking a sunset cruise with family from Victoria. Captain Dan was an amazing tour guide and he was fantastic with the kids. He gave them binoculars and a bird book and sent them on a bird watching expedition. He also let them steer the boat. If anyone is after a beautiful cruise along the Noosa River, Dan has lunchtime and sunset cruise options available. And now it's back to the farm. The pond that we're draining is taking too long for me, so I've decided to take some corks out of the pipe to allow more water through. The only thing is, I accidentally forgot about it. My youngest son Byron headed back to school on Monday, but Inka, who's in high school, didn't. So lucky Inka, she got to help me take lots of netting down. It was only the following morning that I remembered I'd taken those corks out of that pond we were draining, which inevitably means that the pond is going to be incredibly low, if not empty. And what does this mean? Oh, it means there's a lot of crayfish crawling around in the bottom of this pond in the mud. So the birds don't get these crayfish and so that they don't get clogged up with mud, I'm working quickly to put the flow trap out. Setting up the flow trap essentially means dragging down this square box and placing it near the water's edge and attaching the ramp. Now this is a bit tricky because here you stand in the mud, which is quite thick, and you've got to lock this ramp into place. Also, there's a piece of material like a material flap at the bottom of this ramp. If you don't lay it down flat, it will create a blockage and the crayfish won't be able to get up into the ramp. And now I need to connect the water. So I'm connecting it from the pipe work and then it's going to go and get connected to the trap. And let's not forget the top lid cover. This is going to stop the birds from eating the crayfish as they walk up the ramp and come into the trap. Now it's time to connect the air. Now, I did forget that with our pipe structure, when it rains a lot, we actually get water in our air pipes. So, surprise, out comes a lot of water. It's not a big deal. I just have to wait for the water to be blown out and then connect up the air pipe. Here we go, time to fill up the trap. As the water begins to fill up this flow trap, it begins to flow down this ramp. Here's a video at the bottom of the ramp, the water's flowing out. Now because the water's so low and the crayfish are so condensed, I come back about 10 minutes later and here you can see them all at the bottom. They're starting to follow that flow of water and come up the ramp and into the trap. Hello crayfish, here they come walking up the ramp. Now because some silly person had drained the pond too much, that person being me, we did get a few casualties. So there were a few crayfish that had died, maybe from potentially birds pecking at them. I decided not to waste them. I'm going to cook these up and feed them to our chickens. The next thing that needs completing on our juvenile ponds for our netting structure is the wire. So something tells me I'm going to be spending the next couple of weeks putting these wires in and making sure they're tight. This task will include putting up all wires around the structure, replacing any rusted wires, replacing or repairing any bracing wire, tensioning all the wires and installing them tight. So, am I great at fencing? No. Am I great at tensioning wires? No. Am I great at tying wires together? No. Will I have to learn? Yes. Here I am tying a figure of 8 knot to join these 2 wires together. When I tension this wire up, the knot will get tighter and then I'll tie it off on the ends by looping each end wire around itself 2 or 3 times. Time to harvest the flow trap. We just use a net to remove all these crayfish. Look at that. Then I sort them out into our clients' categories. I actually did 3 loads out of this flow trap and I'll do a few more tomorrow. What else do farmers do a lot of? We apply for grants. This is a bit of a process because there's usually, like in this case, 5 major forms that you need to fill out, some consisting of about 10 pages. But tip to anyone applying, use ChatGPT to formulate your drought resilience plan, as they require you to have one of these plans to apply for the grant.